is Kelly, and welcome to this month's product placement video. It's a series where Rachel Reynolds and I take one embellishment and then we use it on a layout, or one type of embellishment and use it on a layout. This month we're doing something a little bit different because we've had a couple months where we've both spent a lot of time on our layouts, and it's after Thanksgiving, right before Christmas, so I said, let's do something easy. Let's do scraps. So this is my scrap basket here. It's just a wicker basket, big flat wicker basket. I keep it on top of my Calyx shelves, and when I'm done with my scraps, I just throw them in. Now, full disclosure here, I a lot of times do not use a ton of my scraps. The reason is that my sister-in-law is a 4th grade teacher, and I take my scraps, and a couple of times a year I box them up for her, including any like maybe 12 by 12 papers that I've fallen out of love in my stash, or even embellishments, because below here I have this bling, which I do love, but you can see I've used one, and I know the kids would love this. And what they do is they take the scraps and they use them in these journals, and they call this paper the good paper. So they talk about, can we use the good paper, that kind of thing. So anyway, I don't feel guilty if I'm not using my scraps because I know they're going to a good place. So what originally I was thinking about putting something together and then finding a picture, but what I did is I decided to find the picture first, and this is a picture of my grandson who loves to build towers and with blocks and all that kind of stuff, and I like it because it's very bright. So I think that will be a fun use of scraps. And what I've done, I'm going to just put that off to the side. I'm going to walk through my choices here. I've grabbed with you live. I've grabbed a piece of white cardstock because I think that way I can, and I'll see if I can get the scrap basket in here too. Yeah, good. I think that way I can kind of look and see how things like work together here. So right away in the scrap basket, this piece is right on top, and that looks really great with the blue in there. And now I have some sort of shelf to work with. I do like that yellow because there's yellow in the blocks. There's a bunch of red here. Now, a lot of these are offcuts. Ooh, look at this. Here's some green. So right now I have the blue, red, and yellow. And I'll just look and see if there's anything else. There's some orange. That's kind of pastel-y. I thought I'd see if I could find, like, I don't know. That's a little pastel. I don't right now have anything with like a multicolored stripes. This is a grandchildren paper, which would be so awesome with this, but the colors are off, and this isn't a story about grandchildren, it's a story about him building. Okay, I'm just continuing to look through my scraps here. There's, like, this would be kind of a nice green maybe to put the photo on because there's green in the background there. There's a little bit of orange. And again, I'm just looking to see, there's a nice yellow. If I can find anything with like multicolored stripes in here that I think I could use. That's kind of a nice piece. That's a cute piece, but this isn't a story about like trains or toys or anything. So that's another thing is I'm also, even though I have this idea, I'm still thinking about what the story is and how my scraps are going to work with that story. Here's a good, ooh, here's a really nice bright blue that matches those blocks. So that could be a piece of something as well. Here's some more of that blue. Here's a nice different yellow design, as well as this one and this one. And here's another green. And right now, there's a piece of that red and more blue. So right now, oh, and this is cute. Not sure that, actually the more I look at that, I don't love it because the color's really pastel-y compared to that. So I think I have plenty to start out with here to start my layout. Just check, oh, okay, now that, I'm gonna keep that because that might work. I keep going back. That's a little bit too buttery. And now that I look at this, this probably is too compared to like these and this one over, I have that one over here. So I'm going to put my scrap basket aside. I'm going to keep it close to hand. And then let's see what we can do here. And I think what I'm going to do now, if I have this orange here, I think I'm going to get rid of that because that's pastel-y again. So here's what I ended up with, guys, just to start out with colors. I did keep this piece in here as well too because that's a multi-colored as well. I think this one works a little bit better though because it has a lot of the colors that I'm thinking about using. So I think this, although these two collections I think go together if I remember correctly or something close, I think that this is probably not as good of a choice. I think this is a great choice. I think this will be fun to use to kind of pull my colors from. And I can tell you already, because I have so many long pieces, I kind of like the way this is looking, just doing that, just like that. And I might decide to use that lighter green instead of the darker green, but I think it's time to put you on fast forward. Otherwise this video will be 500 years long. All right, here we go, guys. Okay, so let's start assembling the layout. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to mat that with, whether I do the dark green, the light green, or the blue, and I decide on the light green. However, I really like the idea of having that light green at the bottom because it gives a place to rest. And I'm just sort of arranging papers, and I thought that maybe the bright colors needed a little bit of a white in them. It's in the polka dot paper, but I thought I needed a little bit more. So I'm adding this star paper in here, and that's from Crate Paper. And then I'm thinking I need something on the top. That navy felt too heavy. And then when I brought the bright blue up, I thought the photo lost focus, or the photo wasn't as much focus on the photo, because I think that bright blue really draws your eye in. So that's why I put that back. And I'm thinking about what could go at the top. So I'll use my T-square ruler to help me line this up. And that paper that I'm working with right now, that large polka dot, is an Echo Park paper from one of the older boy collections. And then I have that green polka dot paper there. That is from the Doodlebug Petite Prints line. And I don't have the names on all of these, obviously, because they're scraps. That blue paper, and I really do like how that works with the dot paper and just how it really draws your eye into that photo. That blue paper is a paper from one of Amy Tangerine's collections. Now I just cut that star paper in half because I didn't have enough of it to go all the way across. Plus, underneath the photo now, you know how Crate Paper makes it look like they're gluing the paper on? That piece was there. So I'm adding the strips, and I'm thinking I changed the size because they were all about the same height, and I made the red a little bit smaller by covering it. And then I decided my solution to what was going on at the top was to add that green at the top as well as the bottom. And once I did that, once I cut that strip and added that in, I really liked the way it looked. And now you can see how I'm taking that red and I'm just tucking it under the white there. so that it's actually a smaller strip, because you don't want all your strips to be the same size. That's a little bit too matchy and your eye won't like it. It won't know where to look, like what things might be more important. And now there was white polka dots on the back of that that green piece of paper, I'm sorry, it's a white piece of paper with green polka dots versus the green with the white. And I did try that at the top, but it was too light. And then I didn't cut that right, so I had to go back and recut it again, or at least trim it. And my trimmer might have been uneven, or I put it on unevenly. Okay, so now I'm trying to decide if I want to cut that block down, and I am going to cut it down a little bit so it's not quite as tall. This gives me a lot of room for the journaling, and it also gives me a lot of room to separate the photo from all the other pieces. So now I want to embellish, and I'm thinking maybe I want to do flare in the different colors here. So I found a green one I liked, I found a red one I liked, and then I found that blue one, which was okay but not great. The only problem is the blue and the green were kind of watercolory, and this is a bright, happy layout. So I left the red heart flare there and then went into my stash of buttons, since I obviously have a few there from what you can see. I keep them in like a hardware container, like where you would put nails and screws. So I'm just going in and I'm finding buttons that match the colors of this layout. I'm trading out that bright yellow one for one that's more buttery. I did find a star button there on the bottom, a cute little green one. I've got a blue one, and then I'm just kind of adding them into places they feel like they make sense. Now, you've probably seen layouts where people put matching embellishments on the same color paper, and that's originally what I was thinking I was going to do with these. But once I laid that heart flare down, I really liked how it looked on the white paper as well. And so that's what I started to do, is I started just laying most of the embellishments on not just the color that they were, but also on another one of the colors, like above or below it. And I'm just taking my glue dots here in the different sizes and gluing the pieces down. And I'm really liking how this is all kind of coming together and looking. And there's no like rhyme or reason about where I put those buttons. I just put them where I liked them to my eye. And then I did choose 2 black buttons because the star paper is black and white. I don't think I talked about that. Now, that flare that I have there came from Michaels, I believe, and it had the pin back, so I needed to get the pin off, and I have a shank remover, and that's what I use to do that. So the shank remover is used to take the shanks off the back of the buttons, but you can use it for this purpose as well. And guys, I don't think I kept on telling you where the paper was from. The red paper is from Bella Boulevard. It's the baseball collection. The yellow stripe paper is also from Bella Boulevard. That's the Color Chaos in Bell Pepper Strands. And then the light green paper is from the Simple Stories Boys Rule collection. Now I'm looking for a journaling card here, and I'm thinking I want to use red. But I'm not finding the right red. I want it to have more red. So I go into my Christmas stash, which is out now because I'll start my December daily on Saturday, which if you're watching this real time is, quote, today. It's not today when I'm taping it. But I knew I had red and green cards in there, so I grabbed this red highlight card, and I really like how that's strong. And again, I think that strong pop of red there really helps draw your eye back to the photo again. So now I have taken my, and that, by the way, the journaling card there is from Elle Studio. I've taken this Navy Foam Alpha. It's the American Crafts Stickers in Happy Life. And I think this was a Paige Evans, from a Paige Evans collection, if I remember correctly. And I just popped that up there because I realized I didn't remember what the date was. I popped it up. I looked at the back of the photo, and I write my dates on the back of the photo, just in case you haven't been watching my channel very long. I write a possible name
for the layout and then the date. And what I'm doing here is I decided to hide the border of that card on the left side. I thought it pulled, you looked too far away, I guess. The interesting thing I just realized is I almost never do this, but my grandson is looking part way off. But it's okay because he's in the middle of the layout. All right, guys, that other Pure Joy card is also from Elle Studio. There's the still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you guys are all well. Don't forget to go check out Rachel's channel. I put the link in the description box of my video. Bye.